Hello, my name is Thomas Weaver, and today I'd like to talk about special needs groups in times of disaster. The reason I chose this topic is because in the past I have briefly worked with people that had physical and mental disabilities and disorders. My father is the head of a nonprofit organization that assists people with these disabilities. This organization works with individual donors, local communities, charities, churches, and local and state governments to provide a variety of services for those with disabilities. These services include shared living housing, the transportation, medical assistance, and even employment assistance. My brief time working with this organization raised my awareness of how vulnerable our clients were in times of disaster. Because of this, the emergency management planning was a top priority within our organization. In this slide, I'm pictured on the left, and some of the clients we worked with are on the right. So, what are special needs? Well, the dictionary defines special needs as any of various difficulties that causes an individual to require additional or specialized services or accommodations, such as in education or recreation. Some examples of the special needs are autism, blindness, deafness, Down syndrome, loss of limb, muscular dystrophy, paralysis, any condition which limits learning, and most important, any condition which limits mobility. The reason I state that limitation of mobility is important is because in any disaster situation, the ability to be mobile can be the difference between life and death. As you may know, disasters are usually unpredictable, but for situations such as hurricanes or even a chemical spill, having the ability to move away from these dangers are always the safest choice. So what do we do in times of an emergency? Those with special needs should always be prepared in case of an emergency. Creating an emergency plan is always the safest bet. The Red Cross suggests the following steps. Assemble a survival kit. A typical survival kit is fine, but those with disabilities may want to include medications, medical documentation, medical equipment, or even accommodations for service animals. Do a personal assessment of your situation. An example of this may include planning for power outages in case you have medical devices relying on power. Next, create a personal support network. This can include family, friends, neighbors, local organizations, and even local authorities to help you prepare for a disaster. In many communities, those with special needs can register with local fire, EMS, and police departments so assistance can be provided more quickly. Have an evacuation plan. This includes a pre-planned route, letting others know your final destination, and ensure that you have reliable transportation to and from the destinations. Having a list of shelters in your area that can accommodate your needs is also very important. Now, no emergency plan is perfect, so be sure to have a backup plan for any foreseen circumstances that may arise. So, in summary, during times of disasters, some of the most vulnerable victims are usually those with disabilities and special needs. In some cases, emergency plans do not take into account the special needs of those who need it. Local, state, and federal authorities do not always have the best solution when it comes to emergency planning. This is why it's so important for caretakers and those with disabilities to create, plan, and practice emergency plans.